Hi, Pastor Joe and I wanted to come to you today just to talk a little bit more with you guys about some community updates going on here at South Suburban Christian Church as we begin to kind of roll things back into place, looking for our full church launch the first Sunday of September.
Looking forward to it.
Excited about it.
But I think we shared this past week that starting the first Sunday in June, June 6th, that we were going to expand to 2 services.
Yes, we did, and you know, when you make changes in a church, some people love it and some people hate it. We have heard from those of you who hate it, and we just thought we would come and share a little bit about what's going on. You know,
it was not done knee-jerk. There was a lot of planning and prayer that went behind it, and we're really trying to respond to some of the needs of our community here as well as our surrounding area.
And conversations with our eldership, our governing board, our small group leaders.
Yes.
This was a decision that was, you know, great prayer, anguish, and agonizing. You know, first of all of the decisions that we're making as we look toward our September relaunch is in an effort to fulfill our vision.
Yes.
And we've presented that vision at our town hall meetings, at our congregational meetings, small group leaders, elders, and that vision is as we intentionally look at phase 1, which is the upgrades to our sanctuary to allow us to do online streaming service, integrating our online folks with our in-person folks. And the second phase, which is even bigger, more significant, and will be a little longer in putting together, is this community-focused effort right here in the neighborhoods that surround the campus of our congregation. The vast majority of the people who are just within walking distance of this congregation are 2-parent families with 2 kids.
Yes.
They're young families with
families.
kids.
And I mean, those are the folks that we want to attract back to this place. And those, I think, in the past we have pushed away based on service times.
Yes, and I remember when I first entered ministry over 25 years ago, you know, the idea was that families wanted to come later in the day. But that was back before there was sports, there were events, school things on Sundays. And what we heard overwhelmingly from our young families that are currently active in the church is that an earlier service helps them be able to integrate into the life of the church and then get their kids to the events that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we are bummed that we're competing against all the sports that happen. And it's not just baseball, football, it's year-round. We've got sports that we're competing against. And we have heard from families that have said, we can't go to a 10:30 service. That's our preferred service, the old contemporary service, because of our commitments to our kids and their sports.
When we talked about how we were going to be ramping up through the summer in our town halls and congregational meetings, small group leaders, we really wanted to share this idea that it's going to be tough these next 3 months because the situations change almost daily. And the decisions that we make on Monday suddenly have to be changed again on Thursday because of protocols and trends and all those things. We're really looking at lots of different things through the summer. We asked you for grace and flexibility, and we still need that, and for you to be gracious and flexible as we try to figure this out together and work forward. But literally things change daily.
Yeah, and I think we're asking folks to not just say, I don't like that, but to enter into some of these things with grace and flexibility, to see, hey, this is why we're doing it, and maybe be open to some of the change that we've seen some pushback on.
And it may change again.
Yes.
We may get to July and have to completely flip things around again. We just don't know, but we want to get all of this settled before September.
Yeah, we're trying to work through some of the tweaks through the summer months and then relaunch strong come September. And who knows, God willing, then the creek don't rise. Maybe we need to add a 3rd service and we'd have that earlier, and that would be a gift from God.
That's one of the things that Pastor Joe has constantly reminded us. Hey, our goal isn't just 2 services. Our goal is to continue seeking to proclaim the kingdom. Another question was about the times, the 11 o'clock hour.
Yes.
And again, there's a kid-focus aspect to that because of the protocols and the things that we need to do to be able to turn around our children's area, to get our volunteers switched over and connected. We just couldn't get that done in 30 minutes. And not even considering the protocols that we need to follow to clean and disinfect the worship center sanctuary for another group of people according to protocols. That hour really is probably going to change as well as protocols change, and as we look at how it relates to other services and other ministries. There's a lot that goes on in this building on a Sunday morning, and to be able to coordinate all of that can be tough.
Well, and Pastor Ike, one of the things that our church still tries to do is have two different types of worship style,
That's true.
Contemporary and traditional. Most churches have just decided we're going this way, one way, because it's easier. What we try to do is still hard. It takes more players, it takes more people, more volunteers, more musicians, more vocalists, choir folks. So it's not because we're trying to do something simply. We're trying to still do something that's hard and what other folks aren't doing.
Yeah, and we're committed. We're committed to our folks who grow in faith and serve through our traditional worship, and those who do so through our contemporary worship. We're committed to those two services.
Yeah, so we thank you all for the grace and the flexibility that you're extending us. We need grace because we are stepping into this knowing that we don't have all the answers. So we thank you guys.
But we have some other great news as well. You have voted. All of our nominees were elected. Our budget was passed overwhelmingly, and you approved our worship upgrades. Not only that, are you ready for? I was blown away. We have raised $320,000. Now, just some clarifications. We've had some questions about this too. We addressed it in our congregational meeting, but I just want to reinforce it. The total project is $540,000, but a significant piece of that is upgrades and repairs that we have to do regardless of whether we do live streaming. Our lighting system, our sound system, and I know that those things aren't necessarily seen by folks, so they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. But regardless of whether or not we did live streaming, the lighting system is beyond its lifespan. It needs to be replaced. We can't repair these anymore. Our sound system is not in code with regard to safety requirements. And so those things need to be taken care of anyway. A little over $250,000 for that work. You have a top-of-the-line lighting system here when you built the place, and so therefore to continue to replace it and work with it is top-of-the-line stuff too. The addition of the cameras and the other hardware that we need for that is going to allow us again to connect with young families. I have no illusions of becoming a global TV preacher, but we know two things specifically. Number one, many of our folks who are homebound or who are in care facilities have been able to rejoin our church during this 13 months online. We don't want to leave them behind. And the second thing is we know that about 40% of the church is going to leave post-pandemic nationwide. We know that demographic is reflected here in the communities that surround this congregation. And we know that the number one way that they communicate is online, and that before they attend a church, they want to be able to see a worship service to know what they're experiencing. So in many ways, it's an evangelistic effort to reach young families, to let them know of God's love. And but thank you for those of you who have pledged. It's not too late if you haven't. We would love to receive that. You can do that a couple ways. Go to southsuburban.com, click on the Give button, and on the drop-down menu, Worship Center Upgrades, or you can simply send a check to the church, and we'll make sure that gets put where it needs to go.
Yeah. Thank you guys for your support.
Thank you. God bless.